How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Thorn's Jungle. And this is the first Thorn's Jungle that's been filmed. I figured I may as well film it. Got cool stuff in the background, so if you're watching, you can see. And if you're watching, you can also see me holding this microphone like a TikToker. And I hate it. I hate holding microphones, but if I clip it onto me, because I move so much when I talk, all you hear is rubbing and the swaying of my chest hair. So I'm going to hold it for now until I can find some alternative. So excuse me for that. Um, so it's been a while. It's been a while. And to be honest, I didn't realize how many people listened to Thorn's Jungle until we started doing these trips to Africa. And so many people that came on the trips with us were like, we listen to Thorn's Jungle all the time when they're driving to work or when they're, you know, going for walks. I was like, really? Wow. And I still get people reaching out saying they enjoy the podcast. So, man, and I love doing them. It's just, I thought, what's the point if no one's listening? But apparently they do. I'll start off by saying I got some really exciting stuff that's going to be happening with Biothorn, which is sort of my company, and that's the website that this podcast is hosted through. Um, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff on there. I'm going to be doing online courses that you can complete, and there's going to be ebooks that I'm writing or physical copies of the books. There's going to be a whole range of stuff. I've got a blog up and running. I'm blogging now. I mean, geez. Oh, I never thought I'd see the day that I'm blogging, but it's cool, because although I am on Facebook and Instagram, it's getting so bad, especially Instagram. And I don't want to blame the algorithms because that's what people do when they get low engagement or the algorithm, but like legitimately, it's a known thing that Instagram's changed its algorithm. So like a maximum of 10 people will see your content, of your followers will see your content. And to be honest, maybe I'll be lucky to get 3% of my Instagram followers actually see my posts. It's insane. And Instagram's done that to make people pay for promoting posts and things like that. So it's gotten so bad. So I want to take a hold of my followers. I want to have my followers in one spot that I can control the algorithm of, and that's my own website. I'll still use Instagram and everything like that, but I want people to come over to my website and hang out. I'm going to be doing loads of stuff on there, way more than what I'll be doing on Instagram. That's for sure. I mean, I'm going to have a whole community on that website. It's going to be a whole bunch of stuff on there. So yeah, I mean, it's still very early days now. I'm just sort of finishing up the zoology course that you can do, and you can get a certificate of attainment if you do it. And there will be like, I'll do a fitness one, like keeping fit, because there's so many myths and things that scare you about dieting and exercise and stuff like that. And if you want a jungle body, you can do that course and get that jungle body, even if you don't go into the jungle. It just looks like a jungle that's fit. Not a jungle that's fit for a body that's fit for a jungle. Jesus. I'd like to say it's early in the morning, but it's 11 a.m. But I have been up since like 4 a.m. So yeah, forgive me. But this episode today is actually one that I've been wanting to do for a little while, but I'll get to it soon. But it was actually one of the guests, Jen. She's awesome. Jen was such a cool person and amazing photographer. She actually sent me some of the photos that she took while on one of our trips, and they're bloody awesome. I'm going to frame them, put them around the house. But she was like, you should do an episode on this. And I was like, you know what? I was going to do an episode on similar thing, but now that this thing has happened, I've got to do it now. and that is apes using medicine. I mean, just think about that for a second. Apes using medicine. Now, like, I knew for a couple of years now that chimpanzees would actually create medicine, so to speak. Um, they were observed by scientists in, it was Gabon, quite a few years ago. Like, they've known about this for a while. They would see, it was first witnessed a mother chimpanzee like snatching something out of the air and then sort of doing something with it between her lips. She wasn't chewing it, but she was definitely manipulating something on the insect between her lips. And then she was rubbing it on her infant son's foot laceration. He had a cut on his foot and she was rubbing it in. And scientists are like, what the hell's going on there? And then as the scientists were studying these chimpanzees, they saw more and more of this behavior happening to the point where I think, let me just see if I got my numbers right here. It was, 22 events where chimpanzees were seen snatching this type of insect out of the air, kind of squeezing it up a bit in their lips and then applying it to wounds. And not only that, there was a male chimpanzee with a wound on his shin, and a bunch of other chimpanzees got these insects out of the air and all came over and started rubbing it on his shins. So that's altruistic behavior. That's like behavior where it's completely, they're not really getting anything in return. It's completely like empathetic, which is insane because, most people would think that humans are the only animals that show altruism to each other or animals, but no, they will do things out of kindness that they don't necessarily get anything back in return. It's amazing. And the sucky thing about this is uh, the scientists haven't been able to isolate which insect they're using, which would be so cool if they could find that insect and do studies on it, like, in a lab, and see what the medicinal properties actually are in that insect. It would just sort of confirm that how the hell did these chimpanzees know to do that? Um, it's bloody amazing. And humans have been doing that for thousands of years, using insects, crushing them up, and using them as like a topical, a whole range of topical things, whether it's an antibacterial or anti-fungal properties. So it's crazy that chimpanzees have been doing it, and they've known for a while that chimpanzees actually eat a certain type of bitter plant. If they've got like an upset stomach, this bitter plant, they chew it up and it gets rid of their internal and intestinal parasites. Um, and this is a plant that they don't seek out as a food source. It's like purely for this medicinal use. So that's another oral medicine that they're taking. It's crazy. I mean, for a long time, humans thought that humans were the only animal that used tools. And it was like isolated just to humans to make tools. But Jane Goodall, after studying chimpanzees in Gobi Stream National Park, witnessed chimpanzees using sticks to fish out termites out of termite mounds, termite fishing. And this kind of caused outrage, like amongst the scientific community. And Louis Leakey, who employed Jane Goodall to go and study the chimpanzees, he said, I can't remember what the quote was, so I'm paraphrasing here, but it was like, knowing that chimpanzees use tools, we need to either redefine tool, redefine human, or define chimpanzees as human now. Because at one point, humans were the only animal that we knew of that use tools. And not only that, the chimpanzees craft the tools. Like they will pull the leaves off and strip the sticks to actually make it efficient at what they're doing, which is it's not only using a tool, but it's manufacturing tools. And from then on, we've seen tool use in a whole range of animals, like the corvids, which are your crows and ravens. Um, Loads of animals have actually been seen using tools now, which is it's really cool. The more we know about animals, the more we just get blown away by them. So that brings me to what's happened recently. Now, medicine has been seen with chimpanzees and no other ape. So gorillas hadn't been seen really doing this. But in 2022, an orangutan, a big male Sumatran orangutan, had a big laceration on his face, on his phalanges, which are, if you look at a male orangutan, when they get to about 12 years old and become like really dominant, they start developing these big, fatty dish face structures, like a plate face, essentially. They're called phalanges. And he had this huge laceration in his, and he was seen getting a plant, crushing it up, and applying it to that wound. And that's never been seen before. And orangutans are exceptionally good at healing and disguising that they're injured. I think there was a case of a chimpanzee that was shot like 150 times with BB pellets, and they didn't even know he had been shot until another illness struck him, and they did x-rays on him and found all those BB pellets in him. They're really good at disguising the fact that they're injured or sick. But what the scientists did notice was that this specific male orangutan's wound healed a lot quicker than what it normally would have if it didn't have that topical plant applied to it. So this is another ape that's been seen using medicine, making medicine. And the plant it was using, I'll just have a look here because I've got akar kuning, which is the plant. And it's found like abundantly throughout Southeast Asia and China. And the humans know about this plant. It has anti-inflammation properties. It has antibacterial, antifungal. It's a mild pain relief. So humans have known about this plant, and orangutans know about it as well, which is nuts. And not only have the orangutan, well, this specific orangutan, been seen applying it to wounds, but they have been seen applying this plant to their arms and legs. Whether or not that, I mean, not specifically because they've got an injury. Hold on, this stooge on a scooter has just driven past. God, if your machine sounded like that, you probably didn't hear it because it's microphone. You would get it fixed. That's what I say when I hear a car that's fanging past. I'm like, that's not impressing me. That machine's faulty. If my dishwasher or washing machine was making that noise, I'd get it fixed. A noisy machine doesn't impress me. Anyway, I digress. So these orangutans were applying this leaf topically to their arms and legs, not because they had cuts, but maybe because it's some sort of anti-inflammation effect or pain relief, or it stops insects or parasites crawling on them. So it's actually pretty damn crazy. I mean, we like to think as humans that we're special in some way, but hey, newsflash, we're not, except for me. But I'm special in other ways. Um, so this like has kind of changed the whole way that humans look at animals. I mean, apes are very closely related to humans. It's no secret. We all know that, especially the chimpanzees. Bonobos are not chimps and bonobos, but orangutans kind of split from the human lineage a lot before chimpanzees and bonobos. So we're even more distantly related to orangutans than we are chimpanzees and bonobos. I think we shared our last common ancestor with chimps and bonobos about 7 million years ago, with orangutans, it was about probably closer to the 20 million year mark, maybe 16 to 20. So they are still, we did still share a common ancestor with orangutans, but not as much as we do chimpanzees. So it's amazing. They are chemists, and the interesting thing with orangutans, they basically rely on everything they're taught from their mother. I mean, an infant orangutan will stay with their mum for like 8 years or more, even. Um, and everything they know, they learn. The father doesn't really have any sort of input on raising the infant. Um, so I would love to like know how the hell that they figured out medicine. There's a first row thing, like that's what they always say, like, what is it? There must have been one guy that like sucked on a cow's udder to realize that it had milk. And I think that's stupid because we know we have milk as babies, so we know we can drink milk. But, you know, who was the first guy to go, oh, we can drink cow's milk? Oh, wait, that's not a cow, that's a bull. Whoops. Wrong milk. Oh, God. Anyway, um, and orangutans are super crafty. I've said this before on a previous podcast. Might have been one of my Panhoot podcast episodes, but if you give a gorilla a screwdriver, he'll scratch himself with it. If you give a chimpanzee a screwdriver, he'll probably try and stab you with it. If you give an orangutan a screwdriver, he'll unscrew the bolts in the enclosure and escape. Like, they're super crafty apes. Um, and this and pharmacists now apparently as well. I mean, I know humans that couldn't figure that out. So it's pretty amazing, and it deserved its own podcast because a lot of people don't realize that, like, we have far more in common than we probably like to think, you know. And if you ever see an ape in the wild, you don't have to be a genius to realize that we are related in some way. You look at their eyes and they're looking back at you through the same eyes. It is bizarre. And the only ape I've actually seen in the wild is orangutans. I've seen gibbons in the wild, which are a type of ape. Eight. I'm not even going to edit that out, to be honest. Ape. They're a type of ape. They're lesser ape. So they're in the superfamily Hominoidea, but they're in their own sort of subfamily, which is no, they're in their own family, which is Hylobatidae. So they're hylobatids, opposed to hominids. But they are essentially an ape. They're called a lesser ape, but they are not a lesser ape. They are not lesser to any ape. They're amazing. So I've seen wild gibbons and I've seen wild orangutans, and it was mind blowing. I had such a great moment with an orangutan. It was just by chance. We were in the jungle in Borneo, and it came down. It was a young one, a young male. I know that because it spread its legs and tried to wee on me from the tree. So I was having a bit of a laugh. The old piss stitch up. But just the way it was looking at me and trying to sort of, what's this weird looking hairless ape? Not that hairless, mind you. Not that hairless. So it was probably even more confused by that. Because I'm a hairy bastard. It's no secret. And gibbons are even, like, gibbons, you wouldn't get it anywhere close to a gibbon in the wild. They're just crazy. In fact, so the family name of a gibbon is Hylobatidae, and one of the 4 genuses is Hylobates. Hylobates means, oh God, how have I it's like sky, it's Skywalker. I'm pretty sure it's Skywalker or Tree Walker. No, it's something like Skywalker or something like that, because they move through the canopy insanely. The way they brachiate, which is how they swing through trees, they can brachiate at like 30 miles an hour, faster than Usain Bolts can run. And that's them swinging through the trees. Um, so it's pretty amazing, and that's why I love apes. And in January, guess what? I'm going to Uganda, and I'm going to see some apes, chimps, and gorillas in the wild. And I don't think I've ever looked forward to anything so much in my bloody life. That has been top of my bucket list for since I was a kid. And it's one of those things that it's like it's so out there. I could never do that. Oh, that's going to be so hard to do. Getting out there, like it's so expensive nowadays. Not really at all for an experience like that. It's very very doable. So I've never looked forward to anything so much in my life. And I'm also looking forward to going back to South Africa in August. My flights are booked, baby, and oh, I am glad. I've got direct flights to Johannesburg. They started that route again from Perth to Johannesburg and vice versa. So I don't have to be in transit for like 30 hours. It's a 9.5 hour flight, and I'm in Africa. I am in South Africa, my boy. Listen to me, my man. I can't believe I'm already in Africa. If, you tell me if that was any good, that accent. I've done better, but hey, this is live, man. Anyway, this is the revamp of Thorn's Jungle. I don't know how long I've gone for, but if it was a short episode, I apologize. They will get longer, but this is just a refresher to get you back into Thorn's Jungle. All right. Thorn's Jungle's been closed for a while, but now it's open for business. And you will be hearing from me next week. Yeah, next week you will be hearing from me again, whether you like it or not. But anyway, once all my courses and books and stuff are ready to go, I'll let everyone know because they're gonna be sick. Honestly, they're gonna be really cool. I'm hell looking forward to it. I've been wanting to like. You have no idea how full my computer is of books that I've started writing and never finished. But now I'm like, nah, I got to do it. Got to do it. I've got courses because I love talking about animals, and these courses is pretty much a series of lectures of me talking about animals or fitness. I want to get into fitness. Underneath this outdoor adventure shirt is rippling muscle, low body fat, rippling muscle, 6-pack abs, and a ton of hair. All right, so I know what I'm doing. I love it. Love going to the gym. Actually, no, I hate going to the gym, but I force myself to, and I'll get into that in the course. And if you see the way I eat, you will be like, how is that guy not morbidly obese? And I'll tell you in the course. You can still eat your junk food. Trust me, you can. And that's the thing with diet and exercise. Everyone wants to scare you. Oh no, you got a broccoli and chicken. Broccoli. No. I mean, yes, to a certain degree, but that's not all you can have. So stay tuned for that. That won't be for a little while, release course, but I will let everyone know. And I will see you next time on another episode of Thorn's Jungle. Take care, everyone.